Welcome to PT Live. The real estate industry is a very fast-moving industry. It's buying, selling, leasing. It moves very fast. But some issues need a longer-term viewpoint and a deeper understanding. Our guests today are Agnieszka Jachowicz and Paweł Toński, who are board members of PINK. This is the Polska Izba Nieruchomości Komercyjnych, the Polish Chamber of Commercial Real Estate. Welcome to you both.
Welcome.
Paweł, why did you feel the need to set up PINK? What was the purpose for setting up PINK?
Well, it was quite straightforward purpose. I mean, at a certain moment of time, and it was a very difficult moment for the real estate industry, we realized that there is no voice of the industry as such. And the moment was quite important. It was like late 2016 when there was like a lot of discussion about the VAT deals and how to, about the real estate deals and how to, whether to apply or not apply VAT on it, and the people were really losing money in some cases. So the ministry was willing to talk, but wanted to have a representative of the industry. So with a group of developers and investors, we decided to set up a PINK, which is to talk to then Ministry of Finance, start trying to solve the issue, and that was it. And then it just went better and better, so we are still here.
Okay, and did it become apparent because of this VAT issue that there wasn't really a collective body to talk to people like government ministers representing the longer term issues of real estate? Did that come apparent?
That was exactly when we realized that, wow, we are in this industry for years, and the industries like each other. I mean, the players in the industry are not competing fiercely against each other. So we meet, they talk, but they don't have representations. And then it was like, wow, why? And then, okay, so there was a, let's say, long-term need, which wasn't really leading to a solution. And then it was like this sharp need, which just make us work. And
okay.
That's how it started. Yeah, it was December. So like a Christmas PINK.
Okay. Agnieszka, what are your aims? What are the aims of PINK?
We actually have three aims. One is to introduce ourselves to various ministries which are regulators in various aspects of real estate law, and be perceived by them as professional body that can take part with consultancy of new legislation with time.
Which three ministries are there?
There are more than three. The three that we are at the moment active with is Minister of Finance, and these are all the tax issues that Paweł mentioned. Then Ministry of Investment and Development, MIIR, that deal with the general law on real estate, RPU, and also regulations for real estate professions. And also Ministerstwo Cyfryzacji, which I should probably translate as digitalization. They are at the moment, they were the author of so-called Mega Ustawa that allowed for implementations of various providers to also commercial buildings.
This is a very current issue, isn't it?
Yeah, although it's an old law, but it has been changed recently under our consultancy, but we still were not involved in that one because that was last year. But we introduced ourselves to them. But there are also other ministries like Ministerstwo Przedsiębiorczości that touch various real estate issues, and we plan to introduce ourselves. So the first one is consultancy on legislation which is currently being changed quite often. Second one, with future we would like to propose changes which are good for industry. We also want to work on general image of the industry in front of various stakeholders and public opinion. And
like journalists, for example?
Yeah.
That's why
and we will also, that's a new thing from May this year, we will be the first body that will present to press and our members aggregate data related to real estate produced by the largest agencies and agreed by them. So yields, volumes of transactions, rents, etc. And this will be done regularly.
In the market,
we'll do it on behalf of the agencies, but we will be the first one to release it, and the data will be agreed. So that was that disappeared for a while from the market, and it's really needed.
Okay. Can you highlight a couple of issues that at the moment are important for PINK, maybe which you're talking to the government about, or?
Well, actually, we took part in all the tax consultancies which Paweł mentioned. That was VAT also. We were also involved in REITs, and we hope that we get involved together with REIT Association. At the moment, quite recently, we were involved in opinions on new standards for valuers, which is a very specialistic issue. But if there will be if there will be chances to talk about Mega Ustawa, we will get involved. And if the
Can you briefly outline what Mega Ustawa is for people who don't know?
Well, I can't remember the whole name, but the main thing that this so-called Mega Ustawa allows is it allows every provider to enter every building, and if
whether the owner likes it or not. Sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, and this actually, while that was designed for residential buildings, where it may be right because it gives freedom, with commercial buildings, it's actually, it may create a lot of mess with building management and also fit out. And actually, we believe that commercial and residential buildings should be treated separately.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the residential and the commercial, in a nutshell, why did the government not go for REITs in commercial, but they did in residential? In a nutshell, I know it's more complex than
Actually,
that.
I don't know answer to this question because the whole commercial market doesn't understand, and I hope that this attitude.
So it hasn't been clear why.
It hasn't been clear, I think, but what's probably is, behind it is that the government still wishes to promote the residential growth, and there is like special, let's say, fund to do it within the government, and then there was like a probably decision that this REIT could help. And on the other side, there is this commercial market, which what we want to change, but which is perceived by the government as some more related to international players and not necessarily.
Well, isn't that the whole point of REITs, to open
support.
it up for domestic capital?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that might have been the idea, but well, we'll see. I think this is, you know, you have to start somehow, and then if you start and it's getting popular, then I still see chances of broadening the scope of REITs.
It's a long-term thing, isn't it?
It's a long-term thing, and that's exactly why we think pink is also useful, because we try to work with people from the government to explain how the market is operating, why certain regulations are not really helpful to make this regulation being popular, because if you want to have a success of REITs, you have to change some things. And then if we want them to change some things, we need to understand that it's not on to deteriorate the state budget position, but just to make the law working better, so that it's a common success. But it takes two sides to talk. And
well,
then you
need
to have to talk to someone.
Does the government listen to you? Do you see some effects from your engagement with them?
I think that with the Minister of Finance, we have spoken to them or sent some reports already several times. And we believe that we proved to be a partner to talk. With the other ministries, we are at early stage, but I believe that that will be the case as well. But as far as REITs are concerned, we will be cooperating. We have supported REIT Association earlier, and we will do it again. And we believe that as in the whole world, this issue is designed for local players as well as for foreign players. There will come time that the attitude will change.
Sure.
And they do want to talk. They not always listen in a meaning that apply what we suggest, and that's fine, because that's,
they have many interests.
We are not the legislator; they are. So that's perfectly fine. But there is a will to talk. That's for sure, and to understand. So which is good.
And maybe another long-term issue that you want to get out there. You want people to understand better the government and the market. Any other issue?
I think that's the main one, is to get communicating and understanding each other, because the industry is understanding the government's needs to, I don't know, eliminate loopholes, to digitalize some parts of the economy and so on and so forth. But it should, take into account the position of the industry as well.
And with this mega ustawa, what is it like in other countries? Because it does seem quite radical that operators can come into the building where the owner.
It seems that in other countries there is freedom, but I think that what happens not only with this law but with others is that we take as an example European law, but some of the solutions that are done in Poland are much stronger and slightly different. So freedom as such exists, but I think that here it went a little bit too far.
It went too far because
Yeah.
actually the building owner and manager has no control over what is happening. It's in the building for which he is responsible actually. So it can be put together for every party to be satisfied, but at that moment it's slightly more towards the service providers than forgetting about the owners. That's it.
Okay. I mean, Paweł, just to wrap up, and in a nutshell if you can, what are your main aims going forward for Pink?
The main aim is to start talking with the legislator about the suggested solutions before implementing the law.
So you want to get in there before the law comes out, obviously.
That should be the natural process of any industry representative, because if the law is targeted for the industry or just coincidentally involves the industry, then it would be good if the industry is heard before the law is introduced. And this system is already working to some extent, but I think it can be improved, because then, with the good law, everybody will be happy. I mean, the government and the industry as well. So that's probably the main nutshell kind of goal.
And there's just one thing, that the deadlines for public consultancy are sometimes too short. So
that's
what
not
Paweł
only for
What's the
suggests,
typical deadline?
I mean, they give a deadline to send comments.
Sure. And how long do they sometimes
14 days maximum.
Oh, that's not very much, is it?
Yeah.
Special complex.
But that's not only in the real estate. That's like a universal problem.
But that's also part of your advocacy to try to get them to extend it a bit. And who are your members, and are you open to more members? What kind of company?
Well, actually, we are focused on real industry, so we would like to have, and we have already a lot of developers and investors. We also have agents and other advisors, like we have 2 legal advisors and 1 construction advisor, but
And you have about 40 companies, don't you?
and we are at the moment 40 companies.
What would be your happy maximum, let's say?
100 something.
Yeah,
100 sounds good. And will you get there?
that's what we are planning.
Okay. Well, thank you very much
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
for coming in, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.